Well, let's bring in Jonas Horner now for some analysis on what's taking place in Sudan. He's from the International Crisis Group for the Horn of Africa and is joining us from Nairobi in Kenya. Jonas, good to have you with us again on the News Hour. So we've seen this step now by Al-Burhan. There's planned protests this weekend. What are we looking like is going to happen here in Sudan in the next couple of days, do you think?
Well, protests have already begun, preempted, I think, by yesterday's announcement of the new Sovereign Council, which does not include, as your package said, any of the Forces for Freedom and Change members. But I think protests are certain. They've already started. I know that the streets were hoping to keep their powder dry in some ways for the weekend protests, but I think you will now see several days of expression on the streets of just why Sudanese do not want to see the military running their transition. And the concern, of course, regarding protests is the military's response. This has so often been, really the root of violence during the revolution and during the days since the coup. So we really hope that the military does not respond in a heavy-handed fashion. But I think people are particularly angry right now, and that itself could both precipitate military blowback as well as potential military divisions, which is something we've consistently been concerned of.
I mean, Jonas, you and I have talked about this for the past couple of weeks since the coup has happened. What do we think is the stratagem here of the military to take this kind of preemptive step and declare themselves as running the Transitional Council when every single actor, be it within Sudan or from the outside community, is asking for the civilian part of that Transitional Council to come back in and help?
I think that this particular appointment of the Sovereign Council and its composition, points to some sense that the military didn't really have a plan B. It is my accumulated sense that the military did expect FFC members of the Juba Peace Agreement, signatories to the Juba Peace Agreement of last year, to be willing to join the government. And I think that the last couple of weeks have illustrated, a level of chaos within the military's attempt to exert power over Sudan. Things did not turn out the way that they thought. And this also sort of reinforces, my own sense that this has been somewhat miscalculated from the start. But, I think at the heart of this, it's impossible to ignore the support that the military has enjoyed and received from external backers. And I think, without their, support and say-so, this coup wouldn't have gone ahead. But I think, even those external backers are starting to wonder if the military has a viable and workable plan, because the protesters appear to be going nowhere.
Absolutely not. We'll see what happens this weekend. Jonas Horner from International Crisis Group. Always good to have your analysis. Thank you.